Van life. It's been defined as the continuous, everlasting voyage of living in a van. And if van life is calling you, then you should check out vandoit.com. Van Doit can be used as a primary vehicle with 7-passenger seating, convertible to a camper van, or anywhere in between. Go ahead, give our site and blog a gander. We assure you, it's going to make you say, you Van Doit. 816-944-2229. Or check us out at vandoit.com.
Ready? I'm Gary.
This is Austin.
And we are Midwest Mics coming back at you live from the Hy-Vee Arena inside the UClick TV studios. And the guy sitting to my left here is Wayne Chambers, a Grandview High School graduate of 2002. Go Bulldogs. 3 Grandview Bulldogs on the show at the same time.
That's right.
What a night. He has coached football, has 10 years coaching experience in college at the FBS, FCS, and high school levels. Experienced talent evaluator, scouting tangible and intangible assets for all positions. He has worked with 30 draft selections, played with 25 draft picks and 10 national award winners, played and began career at a top 5 program, comprehending football operations and processes. He coached outside linebackers, defensive ends, special teams analysis, and done game planning. Been a national recruiter, signing 14 student athletes, liaison to the Kansas City metro area. Coached conference award winners at FCS award winners, 2 becoming free agents. Interview and onboard team members, conducting those things. Coached in a 3-4 and a 4-3 system, blitz and zone scheme, multiple second-level looks. Worked with all special teams, recorded data on recruits and opponents while presenting data to coaches and other staff members. Maintained the quality of performance and operations, functioning at a highly competitive level. Playing experience, we'll jump down there. 3-year letter winner at the University of Oklahoma, 2002 to 2004. Compiled a 36-5 overall record in his time there. 2 national championships, 03 and 04. 2 Big 12 titles in 02 and 04. Coming out of high school, coming out of Grandview, number 14 linebacker in the nation, according to Rivals. Number 9 in linebacker nation in the Super Prep 2001. Number 6 linebacker in the Midlands in the Prep Star in 2001. Grandview High School Hall of Fame inductee. 2010 to 2015 was at Missouri State University down in Springfield. 2008 to 10 was at the University of Oklahoma in Norman as a quality control defensive assistant. 2007, 2008. Also at the University of Oklahoma. So, all that being said,
wow.
what a resume.
Sounds good when
wow.
you say it, man. That sounds good when I say it.
No, man. So, we'll just start. We crossed paths at Grandview High School. You were a year under me.
He's got one on you.
Yeah.
The only one.
Right. Back when they counted, huh?
But, it was fun. Our coach, Joe Hornback.
Great man.
Just talk a little bit about him and your experience at Grandview playing and what you felt made you a high-level athlete at that time.
Well, man, fortunate to have Coach Hornback. He really just kind of painted a picture for us. I think everybody in our class, everybody in that whole group that was with Hornback had a good idea of what we needed to do to be successful in football. And he just really laid it out for us and gave it a path that we could follow. And a lot of guys did. I was fortunate enough to really, be blessed to go to a major Division I university. But, in that group alone, we had several guys that still went to Big 12 schools and went to some smaller schools in Missouri and across the country. So we had a really good high school football program. I want to say in high school I might have lost 2 games, maybe 2-3 games, maybe altogether, I think 2 or 3 games. Never really got a chance to go deep in the playoffs. The system was a little different then. But But needless to say, we won a ton of games by a lot of points and beat the brakes out of a lot of people. So it was really fun, man. It was really fun to have that direction and have that leadership from Coach Hornback. And from my understanding, he's still doing it, man. He's still kind of helping out the young kids and motivating them through the ways. Different ways.
Yeah,
different way
now.
now.
So, he's still in education. And, I mean, one of the things that I guess sticks out to me is my sophomore year, your freshman year, his first year as a head coach. We were 0-10, and
Right.
a lot of people were kind of wondering, hey, what is this? Yeah, he was a young guy at the time. I mean,
Yeah.
I think he was like 25, 24, 26,
Young
something
guy.
like that.
Yeah.
As being a head coach, and a lot of people were like, man, what's this guy doing 0-10? But I mean, those of us that bought in saw where his vision was going.
That's right.
And he had to kind of change the work ethic and a lot of things in the weight room that
Man.
had been happening, previous to that. And so that first year was not necessarily a reflection of where we were going. I mean,
Right.
because then, by the time, fast forward 2 years, my senior year, we lost, one game. Unfortunately, it was in districts. And like you
Right.
said, the playoff system was a little different.
Right.
Everybody didn't
Yeah.
get in. So that one game cost us a chance to continue in the playoffs.
That's right.
And then,
Yeah,
I think
man.
your senior year, you guys lost 2, which that was about the time Ray Peck was undergoing some changes, and they
Yep,
were starting
yep,
to get on a
coming
little bit
along.
of a
That's
roll
right.
there.
Yeah. And,
So-
and that's a good lesson for any coach that's just rebuilding the team, man. Just changing the structure and implementing discipline in some young kids and watching it grow. Because he was really ahead of his time.
Yeah, I mean, him and, Coach Hilton, Coach Turner,
Yeah.
Coach Paletti, all those guys just, they
Stanley.
went. Yep,
Yeah.
Coach Stanley. They went with, kind of a youth movement, and,
Mm-hmm.
they said, hey, we're going to work with these young guys, and we're going to get them coached up, and, we're going to do something here. And, obviously, you losing 3 games as a varsity football player, I mean, that's a pretty good time.
Great run. Great
Yeah.
run. And even just, even some of the guys, we still talk about it to this day, just some of the lessons, just, they stick with you and hold you, grow you from boys to men. And if you, as a grown man, if you can still recite some of the stuff that your high school coach told you and it stuck with you, you had a really good coach. And we were fortunate. We were really fortunate looking back.
I went to homecoming last weekend to see the new stadium.
Oh,
and,
man.
Yeah, I haven't been there yet, but I heard it looks.
it looked fantastic.
Oh, gee. Yeah,
I mean,
it's great, eh?
I saw, I ran into, Brandon Hunley, you played with.
Nice.
Ran into Kershawn.
Yeah.
Kershawn was your class, right?
Yeah, no, he was a year under me.
Oh, he was
So,
a year
Yeah,
under you,
Kimball's
okay.
03.
Yeah,
Okay,
Kim was
okay.
03.
So ran into Kershawn and
Good group, man. Really
yeah,
good.
just
Yeah.
Coach Stanley was down there. Of
course.
He gave up coaching this year. He
Did
said,
he?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Staple. That's
So
a staple.
yeah, no, he. But yeah, he was there watching the game. He had a kind of a lawn chair down on the end zone, and
bet.
he was watching down there.
I
got
bet.
to talk to him for a little bit, and it's always great to see Coach Stanley. I mean, he's just as energetic as I remember he was 20 years ago.
Man, I wish I could have half the juice that he had. And think about it now, as a guy his age, close to where he was at. When we were 16, 17. I mean, he'd be in the weight room with us. I mean, he'd be running sprints. I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, he was.
So-
he was perfect, man.
Yeah,
He was
he's
great.
perfect for
He
those
was
young
great
kids,
for
man.
that
And
job.
the one year I did go back to Grandview and do high school, and he was still a freshman coach there, and I just saw how valuable he was to just molding even just the freshmen, from the incoming underclassmen, just implementing those skills that still needed in football. He's really good at that, and he's really good. They're gonna miss him.
And that's something that the longer I coach, the more I see the value in that. Like your lower level coaches, when I first got into it, and I was a lower level coach, you feel like, well, that's where they're putting the guys that don't know or can't do things. But I mean, the longer I'm in it, the more I see like, okay, no, those guys are almost more important sometimes than your varsity guys because they're teaching the basics.
And any coach understands, man, it's the next year mentality. You got to compete the season you're in. But you can't wait till, everybody knows the season is comprised of 4 parts. It's the season you play in, and then it's compared to the seasons you prepare for. And the freshman coach has just as much impact in that as developing those young kids and just showing them what you guys want to do as a team, just implementing that early so that way it's not a surprise. They can just really get rolling once they get up to that level. So, yeah, it's big. It's definitely big.
Yeah,
Definitely big.
one thing wanted to touch on that I know Coach Hornback and the staff was really good at was getting you guys recruited by schools and helping you guys with that. Why don't you guys just touch on some of the stuff that he helped you with getting prepared to go to a school like OU?
And one of the biggest things that I saw is just coming out, being able to transition into that college atmosphere. it's just the actual work ethic, you know, being able, showing up on time, being accountable, the small lessons that you need that, you know, as I learned as a college coach, that a lot of kids don't have implemented in them when they get there. And luckily for us, we had that installed in us, had to be on time, took attendance every day, and some of the work ethic, you know, in the weight room, how we approached the weight room, everything we did from a practice standpoint to a meeting standpoint to a preparation standpoint, even an academic standpoint. I mean, we were having study hall, and I thought it was punishment, but it was actually preparation. And, you know, everything that he did was dedicated to us to achieve more and do better. And he told us that, and a lot of guys, he told us that from the beginning, you know, if you stick with this program, I can guarantee you're going to play college football somewhere.
Yeah, that's really cool.
He never said, he never put a destination on it, but he said, I guarantee you'll be able to play college football somewhere. And a lot of guys were fortunate to go to Ottawa. You know, some guys were fortunate enough to go to Oklahoma. Some guys were fortunate enough to go to K-State. Some guys were fortunate enough to go to Mo West. You know what I mean?
UCM.
Yeah, all levels. It just fluctuated between all levels. But if you stuck with that program and you were an iron dog and you committed yourself to it, there was a definite reward for you in the back end of your high school days. So
yeah, that's something that me and Gary have talked about, and some of the other guests we've had on the show, like coach-wise, talked about, like, it's important for them to win right now, and it's very important for them to win the state championship or do that, but also it's very important for them to get the kids going to the next level and grades like that. And some of the best coaches we've talked to, that's one of them. I mean, that's one. It's not their main. Well, actually, some of them it is their main goal because they want to help transition you guys from boys to men.
Yeah,
and boys to men. But like you know, I think that's a very important thing, and that's an important trait we've seen in a lot of the really really good coaches that we've talked to. Is getting everybody to the next level, whether it's going to school play football or whether it's just getting into school or doing whatever. So. A lot of the lessons you learn on a football field and some of the leadership qualities, you can use it even in a business, or you can use it in anything. So I think it was really cool for Coach Hornbeck. You know, we know that's one of his best traits that he had. So
we were fortunate, man. I think, and again, him being a younger coach and just kind of getting out of the college football ranks itself, he was able to shed a lot of insight into what was required and what was coming up, and just not make it so foreign. Just make it seem it's actual attainable and, you know, it's doable. So that was big, man. It was really big having that leadership in that direction, you know, especially early in high school. It's big.
I got 4 Oklahoma questions for you.
Oh, yeah? Shoot.
Okay, number 1 is how did you get out of here and not go to Mizzou, being a Missouri guy? Answer that one.
Well, and honestly, man, I was around the corner from so jumping in there with, I think Pinkel was one of his first couple years in there. He's getting started, and we'd be going down to the games. I remember going down with Anthony Brown and all those guys a year ahead of me, and I'd be an underclassman just tagging along and going down. And I remember my first time I went to a Mizzou practice, I met Justin Smith, and he had calf muscles, the biggest calf muscles I've ever seen on a man. And he said, hey, man, you can play his position. I said, oh, man, I don't know. You know, I kind of want to be a linebacker, coach. But it was the whole atmosphere about it and it being down the street. And I was almost sold on being a Tiger. And then I think later that summer, me and my father were doing some tours. And, you know, of course, we hit all the local places. And I stopped down at Oklahoma and saw all that tradition, and then just said, man, let's just turn around and go back home, man. There's nowhere else to go.
They introduced you to Boz, and that just right. They bring Boz in when they want defensive players.
You know, surprisingly, the first guy I met fresh out the car was Torrance Marshall. Really? It was a big chief, a big, great linebacker, All-American off the 2000 National Championship team. I mean, very first guy pulling up into campus, he crawls out of a BMW. I mean, 6'5", 250 pounds. You know what I mean? And it's like, I'm like, you know, you meet that guy fresh out, and I just said, you know, we don't need to go anywhere else, man. I'm committed, man. So that was that part alone did it. I really wasn't sold. I didn't have a good background on Oklahoma or anything like that. But once you go down there and see all those trophies and see that history, it's kind of hard to go look around and look
Speaking
about
history, this isn't a question. This is a statement. I'm glad you didn't go down there in the early mid-'90s because there wasn't a lot of history during that time.
Schnellenberger ball.
I
heard. I heard. Blitz them all. I heard he was blitzing them all. That was his concept, was purple blitz.
Okay, I grew up in Tulsa, from Kansas, but have got a lot of friends on Twitter and Facebook over the years just bombing Mike Stoops, bombing.
Right.
Just, I mean, you were with the defense. Tell us your kind of, you know.
And I mean, he was, you know, and it's.
I mean, he took a lot of the beating
pretty well. He was there with my first couple years, and He's a great defensive coach, man. Really good defensive coach, great defensive mind. And with the offense of these days, man, you could be hot 1 minute, 1 month, and be hot and dead the next. So, it's hard to really categorize a defensive coordinator, especially in college football.